Hi, this is John V. coming to you from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin for the first ever short travel magazine, a channel dedicated solely to cross-country riding and racing. Hi, John V, Short Travel Magazine, a new channel dedicated to cross-country style mountain biking. Now I know what you're saying, why do we need another channel about mountain biking on YouTube? There's dozens of them. I know this to be true because I spend several hours every week watching them. A lot of these channels dabble in other types of mountain biking that I'm not particularly all that interested in, to be honest. A lot of downhill, enduro. You see a lot of talk about Whistler and Crankworks, and then you get into the Red Bull rampages, people jumping over things and off of cliffs, and that's cool. I like to actually watch that stuff. But I'm more focused on cross-country style racing and riding on this channel. So let's get going. Let's get started with some racing. Today happens to be Thursday the 29th of August, 2019. And the World Championships are going on right now up in Canada. In fact, a few of the events have already happened yesterday. Team relay in particular I'd like to talk about. Switzerland took the gold medal for the third time. United States came in second and France came in third. So it's kind of interesting. There wasn't a huge gap between Switzerland and the USA, 20, 30 seconds at the most. Over an hour-long race. Now, what's interesting about this is you have kind of a precursor, I think, to what might happen on Saturday in the traditional cross-country events. Switzerland had Jolanda Neff and Nino as the two elites. They had two juniors, and Sina Fry is still under 23. So that's quite a powerful team right there. You have 3 out of 5 of, two probably the best currently racing. With Sina Fry has been incredible this year, racing in the elites. So not too surprising, in my opinion, that they won. United States had a great team, Kate Courtney, Keegan Swenson, and they had a great team. In fact, they almost won. And then France with Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Jordan Sarrou. So, I mean, all great riders, but it does tell me possibly what might happen Saturday, and of course I'm really anxious to watch Saturday's race. I predict, nobody cares what I predict, but I predict Nino and Jolanda will in fact be world champions. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot has been awful hot lately, and I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised at all if she took it. But I can't see anybody beating Nino. I just can't. We all know the story with Matthew van der Poel, how he's kind of dominated this year. Kind of made Nino look a little mortal, I must say. A lot more interesting than the last few years where he just took off and won everything from the get-go almost. But I don't know. I see him extra motivated. He's going to want to win this, whether Matthew van der Poel's here or not. The only person I see maybe, giving him a hard time, maybe Fluckinger, I don't know how you say his name, from Switzerland himself. But it's going to be a great race. Now, I'm particularly excited about the World Cup number 8 happening the weekend after in West Virginia, one of the first World Cups in the United States for a long time. I haven't been to a World Cup race since they were NORBA. They were World Cups, but mid-90s, let's say. In fact, I went to a few of them. I know I went to at least one. I have a poster to prove it. I remember picking it up, and it says Grundig, World Cup. So what I'm looking forward to is the West Virginia, because I'm going to be there, getting the family in our family truckster, driving 11 hours straight east, and if I do nothing but just stand there and watch it, I think that would be really cool. It does sound like it's kind of a remote location, so I'm not exactly sure what I will find. I'm not bringing my bike. nowhere to ride it there, particularly during the race. But I think that will be just as exciting. Now, I wish Matthew van der Poel was there. I wish everybody was there that are in all the European races. But since Nino's at the top, I can imagine him, if not winning, being close enough to win. So this World Champions, I think it's going to be more interesting to see what happens this weekend. That's a famous course. I love watching it. One issue I'm having with a lot of people here in the U.S. is how are we going to actually watch it live? Now, Red Bull TV is supposed to show it, but we're in one of, a dozen or more countries where it's being blocked. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do at this point, but I'll figure it out. So with that already over on the team relay, I think we're going to find a great race on Saturday. So we'll see what happens. And you can look forward to a more in-depth report, as much as I can get about people's bikes and their gear. And I'll try and get an interview or two if I can next week in West Virginia. So, fingers crossed. Would I like Kate Courtney to repeat? Of course, that would be fantastic. Do I think she's gonna? Judging by her form the last couple races, I'm not sure if she could be at the top step. Silver or gold, I think, is certainly realistic. She's going to be motivated, as you would expect her to be. And you never know. She surprised everybody last year, and I think I see no reason she couldn't surprise anybody again. So we'll see what happens. All right, thanks. All right, time to talk some gear, one of my favorite subjects. Bar ends. Anybody remember these? I still use them. I must confess, every bike I own, I don't have a lot of bikes, but every one I do has bar ends on them. I know a lot of people probably don't even know what these are. They certainly have not been popular in probably close to a decade now. But if you go back not too far, you see World Cup, Nino had bar ends. Julian Absalon had bar ends. Everybody had bar ends. They kept getting smaller and smaller over the years until they just disappeared. And there's a million reasons why, but not everybody has given them up. I personally still use them. I've got tons of them. They used to be, just these little nubbins. Here's some carbon ones I don't use anymore. I tried some rubber ones that are a little better. And I tried last week for the first time to give up my bar ends at a race. It's been, and I'm not exaggerating, 30 years since I had a bike or did a race without bar ends. Why now the change of heart? Well, honestly, just mix it up a little bit. Obviously, nobody uses them. I don't really care what people think when they see my bar ends. I have a carbon race bike with carbon wheels and carbon cranks and a carbon saddle and fairly high-end, bike. And then I got these big dorky 200-gram grips and bar ends on there. And nobody usually says anything, obviously. But I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, why would you have these big honking bar ends on there? So I've tried, just for fun, to whittle them down. I now have, as you'll see in this clip here, much smaller bar ends on my bike. But I did take them off last week for a race. First race, I have not had bar ends. I got through it just fine, I'll be honest. I used some grips that still have this platform, some Ergon GA3s that are normal grip that have a platform still. Obviously, most cross-country racers now are using the silicone grips. And I actually had those when they first came out and was using with a pair of bar ends. I know I'm a dork. Not everybody's giving them up. I just want to give a shout out to Bart Brenchens, the commentator on Red Bull TV for the World Cups. I'm thinking maybe last year, maybe it was earlier this year, he did the demonstration of the racetrack with his own GoPro and his helmet and was talking about it. And you'd see a few clips. He's still rocking big giant bar ends. They might even be bigger than these. They were big ones. And he had them even wrapped in bar tape. They look really old. They probably were the same ones he's been using since the 90s too. So that's kind of cool. I thought that was cool that he's still using them. So I don't feel so bad when I use them. But I'm going to try these togs. Now these are not meant to be bar end replacements. Nobody's claiming that, I don't think. But they do give you another hand position where you can wrap your thumb over the top of the bars. And I use this position all the time. In fact, it's the #1 position I started using last week during the race when I didn't have bar ends. But all you really got to grab onto is the clamp from the brake lever in my case. So it's better than nothing. But I ordered in a set of these. I even got the matching little green bolts on them. And these go between the grips and the brake levers. And it does give you a more secure, they're rubberized. So I'm going to give you a full detailed review of these within the next week or so. And I think I might like them. I don't know. I have seen a few elite level racers, I believe in the US. These are made in the USA. I believe they're using them full time. I'm going to look that up to verify. But I think these are one of those little niche products that may be perfect for somebody like me who wants to get rid of the bar ends, but just wants another secure way to grab the bar. Maybe they're completely, unneeded. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll let you know in case anybody's curious. One thing's for sure, it's definitely lighter than a 200-gram bar and bar end combo. Also coming up is going to be a detailed look at these now fairly popular Tubolito inner tubes. Inner tubes, I know what you say. I used inner tubes up until just a few years ago. I had no problems with them. I never ever had issues with flats. However, I live in Illinois. I don't ride in the, in the forest where there are thorns, and I don't ride in the desert where there's any number of sharp things out there to puncture a tire. So I can understand the tubeless revolution, but I'm very late to the tubeless game. I only started really 2 years ago now, going full-time tubeless. I still had tubes in most of my bikes. So when these Tubolitos were announced, and this was the first one, this is a 29er tube, I ordered a few right away. They're, at the time, they're almost $40 for an inner tube. It was eek. Considering a normal, even a lightweight tube, maybe 10, 12 bucks. So it was a big investment for something that I didn't really know was going to work. But they worked just fine. I used them as a backup once, and these made my seat bag go from kind of big and ugly to small and ugly. So that's always good. You might have seen these new super small Tubolito tubes. These are really tiny, and they've got the removable valve stem to make them even smaller. This, of course, I would assume is a purely emergency-only type of a solution. But with this extra small size, I'm now on a mission to make the smallest possible pack of extra things that I could shove in my pocket on race day and feel a little better being out there on a race course, sometimes 5-8 miles out from the car. If something did happen, at least the race is over. Yes, I get that, but at least I don't have to walk back 5 miles on a dirt trail. So I'll let you know how that goes. These are the two things right here that I'm finding are worthy of a further look. And I'll give you my extra thoughts on those. All right, so that's it for gears this week. A couple quick news bits before we wrap it up. The cross-country junior world championship race just ended. And once again, Switzerland is the gold medal winner. Jacqueline Schneebeli won that race. So that's 2 now. That's the team relay and the junior women's cross country that Switzerland has already won. So it could be a heck of a weekend for the Swiss if Yolanda and Nino both win. And Sina Fry is racing the under 23. She's got probably one of the best shots at winning. So it could be a massive Swiss World Championship weekend. So congratulations to Jacqueline Schneebeli. We may be seeing her in the next couple of years moving up the ranks. Also, Saris, who makes typically well known for their bike racks and their smart trainers, announced the ep1 platform, which is something you mount your smart trainer to, and it allows you to rock left and right and move forward and back, which is what they're claiming to be the more kind of important movement, is the forward and back. So I'm going to go more into depth into cross-country biking, racing, and smart trainers, because I jumped into the world of smart trainers myself very early this year and spent 4 or 5 months where I normally would be sitting on my butt getting fat. I actually spent pedaling indoors through the whole winter months of Chicagoland. So I'm really interested in one of these platforms because I found a few shortcomings when I was trying to simulate the type of training I do during the summer on my mountain bike outside. Hill climbs and sprinting and those things were a little awkward on the smart trainer. So this ep1 platform from Saris might be something worth investigating this fall when it's time to hang up the regular bike and go back to being an indoor bike racer. So that's it. Talk to you soon. By the time this next episode comes out, I believe the World Championships will be history. We'll know if Kate Courtney was able to repeat. I mean, fingers crossed, you know, go USA, but she's got her work cut out for her, I think. So good luck, Kate, and good luck everybody else at the World Championships. And next week, I'm leaving for West Virginia, and I'm actually going to go to the World Cup snowshoe. So I'm going to do serious bike spying and try and get as much information as I can on some of these cool bikes for the World Cup finals. So I'll look forward to that. All right, thank you.